So, I've been playing wherewindsmeet since it launched in the West, and boy, let me tell you, I wasn't a fan in the beginning. I've since come around to it, and I do enjoy the game now, but there are a couple of issues that I think aren't super appreciated by the Western market, and that's what I want to talk about today. Let's start off with time gating. Wherewindsmeet is not your typical MMO. In fact, it's not an MMO at all, where you can just play as much as you want and grind out your character and build as fast as you want to. There are many systems that work a bit different to our familiar Western game design. To keep leveling your character, you need breakthroughs. Breakthroughs allow you to increase your character level to the new max of 55, 60, 65, 70, or whatever it might be. But these breakthroughs only happen every 10 to 14 days, and the level up process usually doesn't take a lot of time, which means that you can easily achieve your max level, but then have no more character level increase for the next 2 weeks. This might be a bit weird, but it's ultimately not really that big of a deal, because now you can spend your time getting your build together. But that's when we run into the next issue, farming gear. Especially purple and gold quality gear requires energy, but you can only gain 1 energy per 9 minutes, and only save up to a maximum of 500 energy. So you get roughly 160 energy in 24 hours, which is just enough to do 3 bosses or 3 outposts and claim triple loot. Maybe throw in an energy pill and then have enough for a 4th boss or outpost. But even 4 bosses only take a max of like 20 minutes for most players to do. So that's not a lot of daily build development that you can do. I wonder why Asian games do it like this. Hey, why is it that Asian games, specifically Chinese games like Where Winds Meet, heavily limit the amount of grind that you can do in a day? Why is there energy limitations? Why is it always spread out over longer periods of time?
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. A lot of Asian games, especially those from China, implement energy or stamina systems to encourage players to log in multiple times throughout the day rather than binge playing for long stretches. It helps with player retention and keeps the player base engaged over a longer period. It also helps the developers manage server loads and reduces the risk of burnout among players. Plus, it can also be a monetization strategy, encouraging players to either wait or spend money to speed up their progress. It's definitely a design choice that affects player behavior in a big way.
Are there any like specific reasons why games would do that? Is that like some Asian thing that people are not allowed to play as much as they want?
Yeah, there are a few layers to it. One aspect is definitely cultural and regulatory. For example, in China, there have been government regulations that limit the amount of time minors can spend on games to prevent gaming addiction. This kind of influences the design of games so that players don't spend excessive amounts of time in one go. It also helps with maintaining a healthy gaming environment and promoting more balanced lifestyles. Beyond that, it's also a business strategy. It encourages players to keep coming back over days or weeks, which in turn boosts engagement and can also lead to more in-game purchases. So it's kind of a mix of cultural factors and industry strategies.
Interesting. Well, this brings us to the next topic, grind. Getting the right build together takes time. This in and of itself is not a problem. Grind is something every game does, but most games don't add several layers of RNG on top and then still time gains you. It's this blend of you need to invest a lot of time, but we only allow you to invest so much per day that is making the game less enjoyable than it otherwise would be. So let's look at the main culprit for the grind, the boogeyman of all buildcraft, RNG. There are many layers of RNG you have to deal with when trying to put your build together. If you're trying to get a certain gear set for your build, you have to hope that you get the right set, the right piece of that set, in the highest quality for that piece, have the right starting stat on it, have that starting stat be the highest quality, then tune your piece and hope for the right stats, get the highest quality for those stats. We actually have items that can help with that. Then put an attunement on and hope for the right one. And that was just for one piece of gear. Now you have to repeat that for the other 7 pieces, and you'll quickly realize how frustrating this can get. Now add the endless grind for getting the right inner ways and upgrading them to and past tier 4, and we see a pattern form that affects a certain type of player more than others, which brings us to the next topic, inflexible builds. Where Winds Meet is not a game that rewards trying a lot of different builds and switching things around a lot. In fact, the game kind of punishes you for doing so. Since the gear grind is so heavily RNG based and can take quite a bit of time, You can't just easily try different builds to see what fits your playstyle more. And with how much of a time commitment inner way farming is, you're incentivized to heavily focus on your 4 inner ways you really need for your build and exchange the other pages you don't need until you have converted them all into your 4 main inner ways. But this means when you put a new build on, you will find yourself not owning any of the new inner way pages you need for that build because you exchange them all. This again adds more grind to the game, and if you try the other approach, where you just keep all the inner way pages so you have them ready when you need them, you are probably benefiting in the long run, but hurt your build development in the short term. Anyway, that's all I wanted to ramble about today. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy the game and I am having fun playing it. I just wish that buildcraft nerds like me didn't feel like they are being punished for wanting to try different things. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoy these talks, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.